But we'll go back to the Ting Open Wildcard Qualifier number 2. This is a qualifying match, I remind you all, so the winner of this series will go through to the group stage. Spawning on the bottom left side of Dusk Towers, it's going to be the blue Terran player KeeN.
In the top right, as the red Terran, he is Liquid Bunny.
Looks like Ting Jesse's still taking fights in chats. Wish him the best of luck.
GGB fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, different types of fights taken in chat.
So we do have a gas first coming out for KeeN here. I imagine he's going to be going into a one-base attack then. So I got my wish, just not from the guy that I would have anticipated it from. We've already talked about the lag issue for the Korean here. Of course, going from Korea to EU is not too great. And he will need to have some pretty good micro to actually make this even out if Bunny's going to be going for that command center.
Yeah, when you go for faster CCs in TvT, there's like two real harsh directions it goes, right? Like one is either you get so far ahead in the macro game, you're like, okay, this is going to be easy. The other is that like you are susceptible to one base drops, like whether it's a tank coming in early, Hellions and Reapers en masse. I mean, it kind of sucks to potentially lose the game because of a what is a standard build choice, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Oh. I was gonna say,
yeah?
Roddy's in chat, by the way. I would love to see Roddy. Roddy off race versus Ting Jesse would be an amazing setup. I just want to say that because I mean, Roddy's Protoss is good. It's really good. I'd love to see him try and like take down Jesse with like his Terran or Zerg or something.
I think he'd be able to do it.
I'll get confidence. Yeah, well, you know, Roddy's got confidence too. That guy oozes confidence.
So the SCV from Bunny did scout everything. It got into the main base and saw what was going on because KeeN just really didn't have any units to stop it. Like his first unit is a Reaper, it just came out now. So Bunny knows mentally at the very least that he has to prepare for the defense because honestly as a Terran player you're going to be going for almost the same build every single time, just different units coming out of the build. So up to your 1-1-1, do you get a Cyclone, do you get a tank, do you get a Viking, do you get a Medevac? Honestly he could still get a Medevac and just do a counterattack after he defends, but he could also get a Viking and just have like the best defense.
I wonder if I mean, like, because it is like standard for Bunny, especially you get the Cyclone, you've got the hardcore Mothership Core that we're calling it. Like, does he need more than that? Like, will that cover bases from whatever he's guessing that KeeN does?
Just the Cyclone? It's very.
Well, I mean, and the handful of, you're gonna have Marines.
Oh,
so, like,
okay. Yeah.
Sorry, that was just given.
Yeah. All right. Yes. Then yeah, that should be enough. It's just that the Cyclone doesn't give you much pushing power after that. Like it is an entirely defensive unit most of the time. Versus Protoss, you can go on the map. Versus Terran, you can try and catch something out on the map, but usually you're just they're gonna run into Marines or tanks. Not really worth. The Marines are not worth the Cyclone's lock on.
No, definitely not. Yeah, because my question for that then was like. Because if you're really scared, right? Like, let's say you're Bunny and you're just like, okay, I'm playing against a Terran player who's known to do fast Banshees. Like, the Cyclone will still cover against that. You don't have to rush out a Liberator or even go for something uninclusive to your build like a Viking. But
yeah,
KeeN is doing precisely that, by the way, because he wants to have that air advantage coming across the map. He wants to make sure Bunny can't actually get that medevac, and he wants to make sure that Bunny has vision with that tank. Or sorry, KeeN has vision with that tank. This is going to be really scary for Bunny to defend against.
Bunny got the scout that it was a one-base build, but like what one-base build is really just, hard to determine unless you scan. So he might have been anticipating some type of drop, in which case the Cyclone would have covered, reinforcements would have covered. A frontal push, Cyclones are a little awkward against, and he would have wanted that medevac back at home for.
It's funny, though, because if he does actually get this medevac across the map, and the Cyclone and the Viking intercept. Oh, no, he boosts. That's going to go down. Oh, that's kind of... Because for Bunny, if he killed all the SCVs behind this and barely holds, pulls his own SCVs, he wins the game. Now that's no longer an option, and Bunny is, well, in a lot of trouble, frankly.
Certainly. He has not a lot of fodder for this tank, but the tank itself should be enough to hold. Obviously, he loses supply depots. He's going to have to move his barracks. The Viking War should go in his favor just because he can repair, obviously.
Yeah, plus Vikings are awkward as fuck.
Yeah.
The delay in the shot, oftentimes they'll kill each other.
This was some nice damage. Now, I like that KeeN is going for, of course, the natural right here. It's almost done. He is macroing out of this, but Bunny is just trying to keep it cool. He's trying to just continue with his build, realizing that this is probably not game over.
Oh,
but
well,
KeeN actually pushes in here. He's not repairing either of the tanks. They go down instantly. Oh, dear God.
And he pulls SCVs into Marines. That's not going to cut it. I think he was trying to use the Reaper to keep them off the ramp. Now, he does clean up the medevac, and as he gets into the dead zone of the tank... Oh, my God, that Viking. Kill it. 1 health. 1 health. SCVs! Citizens arrest!
So Bunny, I mean, those 2 tanks going down as quickly as they did, that was quite worrying. But he is still up 6 workers. He just has no army now.
This was a lot more harrowing and scarier for Bunny than I think anyone expected it to be. I thought with the double tank kills, because the thing is not that he killed one and then focused the other. They simultaneously died. I thought Bunny was going to die. But his production looks solid. He's got better production than his opponent. The SCV count still, as you point out, in his favor. Dropping mules like crazy. KeeN's only just gotten the natural base down. So that was so bloody scary to look at if we had no scoreboard at the bottom of the screen.
Yes, for sure. But it was that, what was calm thinking to go ahead and continue with his build before those 2 tanks died that is going to lead him into an okay mid-game. KeeN got damage from that, but when you really look at everything considered, I suppose, it's not a lead necessarily. He is getting a lead on that 3rd command center though, which might turn into a bigger lead later on if Bunny's going to be more aggressive. It's it's going to turn to him to actually do some damage. It's kind of the flip-flop that happens in TvT. Flip-flop, flip-flop.
Oh, I gotta
Australian calls them.
I gotta try the window that raffle stuff for Titan Souls. That we'll get that done after the game. Thank you for reminding me, guys. We'll finish up this game first, then we'll go draw the winner. Medevac drop to the natural base. This is where all the mules are. A little bit scary.
Yeah, all those supply depots that are making too. It's going to be annoying if you get all the SCVs making that, and he gets 2 of them, so quite annoying. Hopefully he realizes that it's not done. Gets chased away pretty easily though. Still no 3rd CC from Bunny, but his production is just trying to get, trying to get up there. He's trying to get a much stronger army supply than KeeN. Right now, only up by 4 is not really that intimidating. He will have a much faster, +1. But KeeN's trying to make up for that with a double engineering bay. But it's about this attack that Bunny is going to have to go for, basically. Like, you can't just throw the 3rd CC down now and hope to win the late game. Boom, boom. He's also going to have faster combat shields if he starts it right after the stim, which could be a big deal.
That's the thing. Like, it's going to be so close on timing, it may or may not be. Like, it can be one of the biggest deals of upgrades when it comes to any matchup, combat shields versus non-combat shields. I'd say even more important than, say, bailing speed versus Marines. But this, the timing for it's really questionable. He does start it right away, though, so he'll have that much going for him for a few seconds if that ends up timing out. But the game might actually end before then, depending how good this first engagement goes. I do want to note that KeeN is still making Vikings behind this.
Oh, yeah. It has to go quite well. He actually just drops on top of the tanks and takes a very good fight, kills the 1.
Oh, but back away, back away.
Yeah, definitely run away from that. KeeN's own drop has been cleared out by the reinforcements. Not really a big deal over there. He does start combat shields almost immediately after his own stim as well, so that could have fallen a lot farther behind for KeeN. He's going to want to buy time for his upgrades to finish, in which case he'll have a bit of a lead himself, although Bunny's right behind him on that armor. And those Vikings that you pointed out are actually going to be very helpful. They're medevacs versus medevacs, and Bunny just stays here for a very long time and increasingly just approaches KeeN, but now he won't be able to really push up any farther.
This reminds me of something where actually, for a time, Vikings ended up being a very crucial part of the matchup. When the tanks could instantly unload, the best thing to do is snipe off the medevacs. So we saw really heavy Viking counts towards the end of beta before they put the siege tank delay on the unload. This kind of isn't entirely a throwback to that. Going for about 3 to 5 is more like a HOTS thing to do, but it's still cool because it will give you the air control. It'll give you vision early on when nobody can afford to scan every 3 seconds. Like, this is a good investment out of KeeN.
I'm not like 100% sure on this, but I think I like Vikings defensively, but offensively, because it's the choice between more medevacs for your tank drops or more air control so they can't tank drop. I think offensively, if you're running around the map, Vikings are going to be a little bit more difficult.
Well, offensively as well, apparently, or defensively, didn't take into consideration the Liberator being factored in as well. Yeah. It'll keep it from anything else. But, ooh, drops do sneak passes and go to the natural base. There is a tank over here, but the Marines are pretty well spread out. I thought he was going to get more CV kills. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
unfortunate. He won't trade this out well.
So
He's coming to the main, though. Big Doom drop over here. And an attack to the third base entranceway while this goes on. He's got to unload all his Marines, get some tank shots off.
The main should be cleaned up here with the rest of the Marines that are coming from the natural, but that third is entirely undefended.
Oh, he goes for the tanks. He slaughters the tanks. KeeN's own tanks going down so quickly. He might not clean this up. That's a lot of Marines he's got to chew through.
The Marines are getting choked in. He has to lift the command center. Oh, good thing he lifted that command center.
Oh, but still, this ends up being a really good trade for Bunny. Even just pushing this up.
Oh, yeah.
He goes 25 SCVs. His opponent now half the worker count and a third base not mining.
Wow. Bunny definitely did the damage that he needed and then some. So now way up in those workers, even Army Supply 2, so he doesn't have to necessarily worry about a counterattack, although obviously don't let them get into a good position. Upgrades started for both of them at the same time. Nice of them to both realize the importance of continuing with that macro. This is actually an orbital, so it's a little odd to see.
There's two really cool things I liked about this, though. One, like, KeeN with the air control, that should never have happened. Having 3 medevacs get to your base like that, that distraction out of Bunny, we thought was a wasteful drop. Best distraction of all time. Second thing that really happened here, we talked about the dynamic of 1 base versus 2 base openers, right? We kind of had like a 2 base versus 3 base opener now in comparison. Like, Bunny had stalled out his third command center for so long, he really needed to do damage with that attack, and that was an excellent way to pull that off.
Yeah, that was quite good from Bunny. Now the game goes on back in his favor here. His +1 vehicle weapons are also a little bit quicker. Again, just little timings.
The downside to the way economy works in the game, though, is Bunny, like, it looks even, right? Upgrades are 1-1, 2-2's timing out perfectly. Army supplies are somewhat even. But give Bunny about 5 minutes with this SCV lead while KeeN tries to bridge that gap, and that's where Bunny will pull ahead. KeeN drops the Mule Hammer of God, though, on the third base, so he's got some pretty nice money coming in right now.
You know, Bunny's able to afford a 4th base pretty quick, like a lot quicker than KeeN's gonna start thinking even about his 4th base. The push to the front is just way too, you know, that's gonna be cleaned up no problem, but the push off to the left on the ledge is what you have to worry about, and Bunny is on top of that. Stops him from even attempting to do that by placing his tanks over there. And you're just not gonna break the ramp otherwise. This is, unless he can get a drop in with double sensor towers, KeeN is not going to be able to do anything about Bunny's economy. Actually, Bunny going to be able to move out here. Sees the tanks, unload just the tanks too, so definitely wanted to take that fight.
Actually, really important detail there was like the 1 Marine soaking the tank hits meant if KeeN did stay, he would have lost his own tanks.
2-2 finishing up here for both of them. And they are going to have a bit of a stalemate in the middle of the map here. They're pretty, like, actually, they were perfect army supply to each other. Of course, Bunny's still with that little bit of an SCV lead, and the 4th finished up too. He's not only pushing to shoo KeeN away, but also to shoo him off of his 4th, which he's not going to take in the pocket because of the tower. It's just too abusive for KeeN's tanks, but rather off to the right.
Dang green kids, get off my lawn!
Shoo, go away.
Yeah, takes a broom, starts batting away at everything.
Yeah.
Nice hits. Again, little things like this for Bunny start stacking up quickly. Like, okay, losing 5 Marines, not the biggest deal, but losing 5 Marines 5 times in a row, that's when it really starts to hurt. He's going to move down, and he was checking to see if his opponent had a 4th here. Obviously not the case either, but everyone just kind of stalemated as they keep scanning each other. Difference being tanks are a little bit better positioned, and this is where I think latency really becomes a factor. The reason Bunny is so willing to just dance tanks to the middle of the map is he knows he can. KeeN may be in another situation, but not when he's fighting against ping and latency. Sensor tower sees this.
Yeah, but it only gave him like 2 seconds prior notice. Now he has all his tanks in medevacs, and this is tankless, so this should be... It's annoying to clean up, but it shouldn't be big losses for Bunny.
But he drops them right into the Marines. I'm not... I don't know about that. I mean, he's going to clean this up, but like, damn, Bunny, that was a not efficient way to do that.
Yeah, it loses like 2 of them right there. The sensor tower also went down, so maybe that's going to open up for future drops, unless Bunny remembers to plant it down. The 4th base is going to be seen by KeeN. Sees it's already planetary and fully saturated too, and at the best feeling.
Okay, what do you think is that a sillier name? The Planetary Fortress gun or the Siege Tank gun?
The Siege Tank one, I think. I forget what it is.
Like, the shock cannon part is cool, but the it starts with a C. I just had this on the tip of my tongue. I've already forgotten it now. Hang on, we'll click on the tanks on the upload.
Yeah, I'm trying to click on the damn tank.
But
That
okay,
was my favorite take.
pushing forward. Man, I really wish I could remember. I just had this on the tip of my tongue. Son of a... There we go. The Crucio shock
Oh, that's
cannon.
right. Yeah,
There
the
you go.
Voldemort, the Harry Potter. Yeah, that's why. That's why I think the tank wins summer. So, KeeN does take the pocket base, but is also protecting the tower. You know, very, very intentionally so. So Bunny goes off to the left, and we'll take another attack path. And KeeN has to be wary of both the tower and letting Bunny get into his third. If Bunny gets into his third, that opens the floodgates to the main as well.
Bunny X doesn't need to take his main back. Oh,
Oh!
no, this is
Oh.
bad. We're getting to that point of the game where KeeN really can't afford to build command centers, much less Marines. And, of course, that was a big part of his potential supply. Both players supply blocked pretty much, actually. KeeN just barely not so. Tank's going to see an opening for Bunny, though, and he unloads. And the reason he can do this is because he had more tanks on the ground first. Marine's going to take that front line, and Bunny concaves hard to take out KeeN's army. GG. Liquid Bunny will qualify through the wildcard qualifiers with a 2-0 over KeeN.